Hey everybody, it's Craig Syracuse. Welcome to a new episode of Walk in Faith. We are in the Opera House, the Emmaus Center, and today we're sitting down with Mario Bosco. Mario, thank you so much. I mean, you've been traveling around the country performing. I watch you on Facebook, on Instagram, all the social media. We've been friends a long time, and now you're back in the Opera House.
I think it is beautiful, and I can't wait to do a show on this stage and fill the room.
I know you, like we said. So we know each other a long time. We haven't seen each other because of COVID. We've spoken so many times. In case our audience is not familiar with your career, I mean, you've been in show business your whole life. Tell us a little bit about your career.
I've been in show business 36 years. Been on so many different TV shows and movies and commercials, but at one point or another, you know, things started to wind down and I just needed the next step to save my career. Otherwise, my career would have just been saying, hey, I'm an actor, but I'm not doing anything.
So what happens? When did you discover that you had this gift? Because it really is a gift. I mean, like you said, we've worked together on a lot of shows and stuff, and you're a talented actor, but like you said, the door was sort of open, but it never really fully opened.
Yeah.
Now with comedy, you stepped into this career, and I mean, the doors are opening. You're traveling all over the country.
The way I say it is, I'm blessed. In my book, my memoir, From Hopeless to Hollywood, there is a topic that touches. It's based on an episode of a TV show called Maude. The episode is called Maude's Big Decision, where they asked Maude about why she's running for politics, and she said, if I don't open this door, I'll never know what's behind it. So I'll open this door and many doors after that.
And we both obviously followers of Christ, and we know when the door opens, right?
You have to walk in.
Yeah, you walk in, and then, if you try to open the door, and it's not the door that's intended for you, like sometimes maybe acting wasn't. For me too, I was an actor, didn't really do as well as I wanted. I don't think that's what God was calling me to do, but the experience, the information, the knowledge, the people was all sort of connected to where I am now. Yeah. And the same thing with you. You made all those relationships. You insulted Denzel Washington on stage of Jimmy Kimmel, was it?
Jimmy Kimmel.
I mean, so you really created this platform. And so tell me, because I've been to a lot of comedy shows, no comedians. What is it like? How do you prepare? How do you write your material? What do you base it on?
Most comics, like Jerry Seinfeld once said, I write on a big yellow legal notepad. I can't write like that. I'm not structured to sit down at a desk in a quiet home and just start dribbling and dribbling words. I can't. It has to come to me. And I feel like God gives it to me. Jokes that I'm preparing that I might take to an open mic or a small show to see if it'll tap and it'll work. But it's just a blessing.
Wow. So what do you base the material on?
Family, Italian, American, growing up at home, living my life with my mom. I try to keep it crispy, clean.
What's the reaction, when they see you first get on stage? Because I know usually your first two jokes are the Mickey Mouse one, the Surgeon General. So how do they react? Do they laugh immediately or do they feel uncomfortable?
They're baffled because they're expecting a guy named Mario Bosco, who's probably 6 feet, 250 pounds, and he walks in, this 4'11", 80-something pound person, and I stand in front of them, and I don't care if there's 500 or 5,000, their all eyes are on me because I try to do my best.
So what would you say is sort of like your best experience, your best night, your worst night? Because I know when you first started, I watched some of your videos, it was tough.
You're going out there and you're facing the world, whether they're gonna accept you, not like you. They may not like your material. Some comedians that I've taken classes, they've spoken profoundly of bad things, religion per se, and I'm pretty much a decent human being that knows don't disrespect the person that brought you into this world.
No, you're right. I listened, past tense, Comedy Central, and I noticed a lot of the material, and they take snippets, a lot of it has really been offensive to me. It's just like about my faith, about God, and I hear people laughing, and I'm like, okay, I get it, that's their own prerogative, but I've noticed that a lot with some comedians recently, that they have a lot of negative things to say about our faith. So how do you, being in show business, being a comedian, a Catholic, follower of Christ, how do you, you must struggle with that, especially being in the, in the back of the room or they're all before a show. Like, how do you sort of balance the two?
Well, as a comedian, I can't say to somebody, hey, that's a wrong thing to say, because if they don't like one of my jokes, it's terrible. Does it bother me? Tremendous. Well, like if a comedian goes up and then they start talking about God, for instance, I go, oh no, Lord, forgive them, because it's like, do they not know what's right from wrong? They know. Are they just being naive and stupid? They are. In being a stand-up comic, the more you say the F word, they think that's the more you're gonna get bigger laughs. And that's
Really?
not really true, because your jokes have to sell.
So is that what the majority wants? I mean, is that what they want to hear, is the profanity and things that are offensive?
I think so. I mean, I do shows sometimes that are older folks, and if there's somebody that says something, they'll get a little bit like, ooh, what did they say? It's not cool to say that. There is those kind of people still in this world, but a lot of these young people that come to see comedy, they love to hear about sex and profanity and religion and in bad ways, and it just disturbs me.
Wow, I know. Even on the radio, sometimes I listen. Sometimes on other stations, and they talk about politics, and I'm like, I get it. I mean, I haven't been to a comedy club in a while. I used to listen to Comedy Central on Sirius, and just recently I'm like,
you have to turn it off.
Yeah, I said, I'm like, because it was like this constant reminder of the noise. I was like, this isn't what I want to hear.
No, it's not.
Yeah. So what do you now, before you get on stage, like, what do you do? I mean, I know you told me that you get up, you say a couple of prayers, or what do you do?
Yeah, so make sure my hair is perfect. My bow
your hair
tie
definitely has grown, I could tell.
my bow tie is straight, and I have a little, I don't know if it's a trick or something. Before I get on any stage, I do 3 crosses, one for our Father, one for the saints, and one for my parents in heaven. And I do that because I want him to be with me when I'm up there. You're always gonna have the, oh my God, what are they gonna think of me? Are they gonna like me? Are they not gonna like me? You can't judge what their opinion is on you. So God is hopefully behind me, and I always feel like he's right here on my shoulder. He's behind me when I'm on that stage, and he knows to get me off at the right time. And I always say, thank you, God.
Wow.
Especially if it was a good show or a bad show, you always want to say thank you. You got me on, everything went great, you got me off.
So now when you get on, is there, I mean, because I know you a long time, when we went to the movies, you didn't wear a tuxedo. No. Is there like a character that you have to create, or have you created this persona?
When I started this was not supposed to be a permanent thing. This was a tryout thing. A friend of mine took a class. The class wasn't for me, but I stuck with it, and it was like, okay, I'll pay, it's 10 weeks, I'll learn something, whatever. Well, eventually it stuck with me. And when I walked into Governor's Comedy Club, this woman named Carrie Carabas, who's a big headliner, she fell in love with me. She's like, oh my God, you're different than everybody else. I had suspenders on, I had a sweater, I had these corduroys, I had these high-top sneakers and an Italian cap. And she goes, oh, no, you gotta pop. Pop? Pop! Sound like champagne? She goes, yes. She goes, you gotta wear slacks and socks and shoes and button-down shirts and jackets. And then she goes, a bow tie. Bow tie? Wow, I was like, really?
So when you're like, if I didn't see you today, or you're going home tomorrow, whatever, do you wear that when you're just going to church or going out? Or do you put the character away? And
No, I tend to be in regular clothes. I don't mind people stopping me going, hey, we saw you at Governor's, or we saw you at this place, you were funny, or this, that. But I can't live like this. I can't.
I get it. How many bow ties do you have?
I knew you were gonna ask me that.
You must have about 50.
50? I think I have about 75 to 100 bow ties.
Bow ties. And you never wore a bow tie in your life?
Never wore a bow tie in my life. Never.
Is it a clip-on?
Clip-on. That's as far as it goes. I would be choking and go, what and how and who?
And how many blazers do you have?
Probably 30 to 50 jackets, probably about 40 pairs of pants, and maybe 60 button-down shirts of all different colors and styles and this and that, because I tour a lot. So like early this year, I'm blessed. I got to go to Florida and North Carolina, South Carolina, and Las Vegas, which is a comedian's dream, to be able to be on a stage in Las Vegas. It is, wow, phenomenal. Wow. I cannot wear the same outfit this outfit has to be put back in a hanger, rotated in the back, and I have to be picking from everything has to be.
No, you're right. You're totally right.
You can't wear the same thing over and over again.
I remember comics by their outfit. So if I flip through them, like I saw that one based, not on the joke, based on the outfit. So, I mean, Mary, you've traveled around the country, like you said, performed in Vegas. What are some of the highlights? Who are some of the stars you've performed with or performed for?
I've opened for Adam Carolla. I've opened for this guy in Vegas, Butch Bradley. We became friends with Gilbert Gottfried, Mike Marino. Some people are more like, oh, so friendly, and some are like, oh, I want to be private, like Howard Stern. Can't go near him at any point besides, hey, you're almost time to go up. Thank you very much, and walk away.
Hey, guys, we'll be right back with Mario Bosco on Walk in Faith. So now this year, you know, like we spoke a few times about it, and you had a really rough year. You had a successful career, but you also had a tragedy that took place in your life. Can you tell us what happened?
Well, you know, I lost my mom. My mom was a big part of my career as an actor growing up, but as well as being a comedian. Before my mom passed, we were in NYU Hospital in Brooklyn, and I said to her, what am I going to do with my jokes that you're in it? Because I do most self-deprecating jokes. She said to me, why? You write more. And I says, I know, but what am I going to do with the ones that I know that are good? She goes, so why? You got to tell them I'm dead. And I said, no, Ma, I'm not going to tell them you're dead. She was proud of me. She knew how much I loved show business and how much I loved being in the spotlight. And she knew that I would go to all extremes to do that. She's now gone a year and it hurts. And, you know, I know that God gets me through these days differently than he would get somebody else through. When I was at the hospital and I saw them, I said, Ma, I love you. She said, yeah. She had an oxygen cup over her mouth and she goes, I said, you love me? She said, yeah. And then they asked me to leave. Come back at 2 o'clock to see her, but then the doctor goes, where are you? You should be standing there. That was God saying, you do not want to see this. Get out. We know you said your basic goodbyes with her. Leave. And when I got the call, I was on my way back to the hospital, and they had said my mom had passed, and it hurts sometimes more than others, but I think that God is making my career so good and so right that he's just making it as soft as possible. And I believe that.
And you are giving honor to your mother. I mean.
Oh, absolutely. Every joke I do, my mother's in it. You know, I have.
So she's like, you have that presence of your mom on stage with you.
Yes, and a lot of the jokes I would run by my mother. She, okay, it's a good to go, leave me alone and don't bother me.
Would she laugh at all your jokes if they weren't funny?
No, she, you know, my mother wasn't the kind that was the joking kind. My mom was an old school Italian mother. She was basically cook, clean, go to bed. Next day, cook, clean, go to bed. You know, it was just a whole, I said, I'm going to be a comedian. Wow. What happened? You don't want to do the movie? Like she would say to me, they're filming all of the movie. How come you not go, you be extra? You get paid, you make a good money. And he said, Ma, I don't want to be an extra. I want to be an actor. Ma, what actor? Actor. When are you going to be this actor? Being a comedian. He understood what I was going through, not getting jobs. And if I had an audition, go, hurry up, clean it, go, you gotta get to the job. And 9 out of 10, you know how
Oh, I know.
auditions
Yep.
are. You go
You're at the
for
mercy of them.
It's like a slingshot in the air, and
Yep.
if you catch that bird, woof, you got one. If not, you're not eating tonight.
It was a very stressful life.
It is a stressful
Yeah,
life.
and that's why whenever I talk to people, I mentor them and I ask them about why do you want to do it? And I always try to listen, because if the reason is money, fame, and success, and I'm like, listen, you got to understand the percentage of success is very low. And if that's the driving force, you're not going to make it.
Listen, nobody knows who anybody is. The way I look at it is everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. So if it's Sebastian Maniscalco or Chris Rock or Jimmy Kimmel, they all got the same way.
Yep.
So there's an opportunity for everybody.
So let me ask you, I want you to tell a joke in a minute, because Mario is very funny, by the way. But
Oh, Lord.
so let's say, I've been doing this my whole life, same as you, and I've met so many people, and usually success comes, and then you have this idea and goal of this is what I won't do, this is my values, my integrity, and then the money comes, Hollywood comes knocking on the door, and they ask you to do something that goes against your beliefs, your morals, but
I say no.
and you justify it.
I just
What
say
would
no.
you do?
I just say no. Years ago, 2 decades ago, I was asked to do a movie, and I was excited. I was like, yeah. She goes, but there's a scene where you come out from the bathroom, and you're naked from the bottom, and we just see you pass right past the camera, and like your mother will wrap you in a towel. And I said, absolutely not.
Mm-hmm.
Inappropriacy does not work for me. Do you understand what I mean? I'm not gonna go do a show where the guy's gonna ask me to do all dirty jokes that they're against my religion and my rights and my beliefs and all that. I say, no way. Thank you very much for the opportunity, but it's not for me.
That. And I think, to the earlier point, I think Comedy Central, all these stations, the networks, the people, they put out those jokes, right? And I don't even think they fully, truly believe what they're saying, because it gets that reaction that they want. And they're willing to sell this or willing to sell their morals for money. And I think when they look back and they say, did I even truly believe what I said? Because there's no way all of them believe what they're saying. But when money comes and fame and the opportunity, people will take that opportunity and take their morals and just, throw them aside, and they could justify their actions and their convictions. They can blur them out. But in the end, when you go to sleep, you have to live with your convictions. You put your pants on the same way. And for me personally, that's something that I would not be able to deal with.
I ask myself, would God want me to do that? And I'm in the back of my head, I could hear it, no.
Good. Discerning. I love it.
You have other comedy venues or platforms, I should say, like Dry Comedy Bar. They film in Utah. You are not allowed to curse. They're very big on religion. They're closed on, their stores and businesses are closed on Sundays. That's where I would want to be. Am I a clean comic? No. But am I going to go out there and say something that I know God does not want me to say it? He'll force it out of me. He'll knock it out of my head. I feel like God basically says, okay, you're going to stand there and you're going to tell these jokes. I believe that. I believe
it.
because, from the morning to the night, you look at it, right? So here you go. You live in Jersey. So you have to get up, you have to shower, you have to get dressed. Then you have to get in your car and drive to Brooklyn, where you have to interview me. From that, I believe God directs you to do all that.
Oh, yeah.
And if God doesn't feel like it's an appropriate thing, you're not going to do it.
I agree. And you said two things before we end. It's all about discerning. And I agree with you. I believe that. And you're using your platform, because you could probably make $1 million tomorrow if you sold your soul, if you got up there and said stuff
But that's not what God would want me to be.
Exactly. And that is the key takeaway, is that, you need to discern. You need to use the platform the right way, because you could open that door on your own, but it will close just as fast as it opens.
Like that.
And God's hand is always on every door. His hand is always turning it, and you can't force the door.
I believe that. Like, I never watch comedy shows. I never watch any stand-up comedy, because I feel like it'll do me more damage than good. And if it's not somebody like that I really, really go crazy for, I'm not watching it. Comedians just don't think that way. Comedians think, whatever, write a joke, I'll try it. If it gets laughs, I'll use it. They don't think of their actions. for later on.
Yeah.
And today, there is cameras everywhere. And you say the wrong thing, and you're
No, I
doomed.
think to end it there, it's the action from their words, what they're saying, and they can either inspire people, right, or
Yeah.
they could destroy people. They can influence people the wrong way. And Mario, if you could, but when we wrap, if you could tell us a few jokes, maybe a few of the things that you're working on. We're in the Opera House. We have the stage. We have the lights. We have the camera. So Mario, you're on the spot. When we come back, guys, Mario Bosco is going to tell us some of his new materials, share some jokes. Be back with Walk in Faith.
How are y'all doing, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, I'm mad. I ordered an Uber. The guy shows up. He rolls down his window and says, "I can't take you." I was like, "Why not?" He said, "I forgot the car seat." But I do have some amazing news for you guys. I got a call from ABC TV, and they want me to be your next bachelor. Thank you. Yes, they said to tune in this season on Nickelodeon.
Mario, that was great. Thank you so much for getting out on stage and trying some new material out. I really appreciate it. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I loved coming here. You guys were amazing, and I'm blessed.
Thank you, Mario. Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Always remember, you have the ability to inspire and evangelize through your words and actions. God bless you.